Hi, I'm Judy Litt. Welcome to this Yin Yoga practice at the wall. So it may be a little different than what you're used to. And you may, in fact, have to take your device, whatever sort of device you're using, and put it near you on your mat, near the wall, so you can check out what's going on because this is a little different and I hope that you enjoy it. So we are going to be at the wall. You need to be in a room with a wall. And we're going to basically, you're going to have your back turned to your screen for much of this practice. Not completely, but a lot of it. And for right now, I invite you to go ahead and close down your eyes if that's comfortable. And then just begin to notice your breath. You don't really need any props for this practice. You might want a yoga block to make your head a little more comfortable. Yoga blanket, not a yoga block. Yoga blanket like this, a towel. You can roll it up. Also, a smaller pillow like I am sitting on at the moment. That may work well for you as well. And I'm sorry we didn't quite get started there. I wanted to make sure you knew whatever props you needed for this practice. It's really not, it's a prop-free, other than the wall, practice in general. And now I invite you to close down your eyes again if you open them. Take a nice, easy seat. You could be sitting on a yoga block, on a pillow, on one of those blankets. Seated any way is comfortable in your body. I'm going to be here a few minutes. Having your hips above your knees can feel a lot more comfortable than just sitting right on the mat. Just take your attention to your breath. Notice it coming in and out of your body. And maybe setting an intention for your practice today. We are going to be practicing a lot of hip opening postures. So your intention could be really simple, just to open up your hips more. And you also could think about releasing emotion. A lot of us store a lot of our emotions in our hips. It can be one reason why our hips get so tight. It's not the only reason, but it can contribute to that. Let's begin a body scan, starting at the top of our head. Relaxing our forehead, relaxing our eyes, letting go of any tension in your jaw, in your mouth, in your neck. Letting your shoulders be very heavy. And then just begin to loosen them down, taking them away from your ears. Letting any tension that you're holding in your neck, in your shoulders, begin to just melt down your back, flowing all the way into the earth. Relaxing our arms, our hands, our fingers. Opening through that chest. Expanding our ribs. Letting go of tension in our low back, in our abs, in those hips. Relaxing your legs, your knees, your ankles, your feet, and your toes. Taking a few last moments here, noticing anywhere in your body that needs a little more attention. Seeing if taking that attention to that area and sending some breath to that area can help you release a little more. Now we're going to take our attention to our breath. We're going to start by breathing in for a count of 2. In through the nose, out through the nose. And as we breathe out, we're going to breathe out to a count of 3. And then we're going to continue that way and begin to lengthen those breaths, always taking our exhale 1 extra beat. So inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3. Inhale, 1, 2, exhale, 1, 2, 3. Our next inhale will be 3 counts. And the exhale will be 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let that go. Continue breathing in and out through your nose, but let go of any counting. Has your energy changed since you started this class and sat down on the mat? How has it changed? Just be aware. Slowly begin to blink your eyes open. If you're sitting up on a prop, go ahead and come off that prop. Our first pose will be laying down on our stomach. And this is one of the few poses that will be that way. So you may want that blanket to go ahead and pad your body, your elbows. I've got my blanket and I've got my pillow. Actually, I'm going to use that. Lay down on your stomach. Your knees are bent and you're going to have to wiggle yourself back towards the wall. I know it's a little awkward. And your arms can be on a pillow, on a blanket. Make sure it's not on the bare floor. That would not be comfortable. Coming into Sphinx pose at the wall. So why are we using the wall today? And that pillow is actually a little too much for me. So I'm going to come down and come down onto my blanket, and that's much better. But you do you. a pillow might be just the right height for you. So why are we using this wall today? What is up with that or down with that, as the case may be? The wall can be a really wonderful yoga prop. It can give you a sense of stability. It can give you a sense of safety, especially in a lot of balancing poses. We're not going to do anything like that today. But you often hear me say we hold our yin yoga poses for a longer amount of time. And you often hear me say, let gravity do the work. So we're going to essentially be moving through poses mostly with our legs up the wall, getting into various different shapes. And that is going to help us let gravity really do the work. And maybe get into some shapes that are not always that easy for you. It may help you a little bit. So just notice how this practice goes. Notice what you think about this practice. Try not to judge it good or bad. Just notice what's going on in your body. All right, now notice if you're holding on to tension anywhere. Really bring your attention to your low back. Push the floor away from you a little bit. In Yin Yoga, we are really trying not to contract muscles. We're not trying to stretch our muscles out. But when we do poses like this, when we're using our arms, you're going to feel a little tension in your arms. And we're trying not to collapse down into the floor. Notice how if I'm just relaxed into the floor, and if this is where you want to be, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not going to hurt you. But by thinking about lengthening your spine, pushing a little into the floor, you're going to create more space in your body. A little bit more strength and stability. Most of us spend a lot of time every day slumped over, poor posture, looking at a computer screen, and we need a little counterpose to that. So as I said, make sure you are aware of your low back. Make sure there's no pain in your low back. And come into stillness in your pose. Another principle of our Yin Yoga poses. We take the first minute to make any adjustments we may need to make it sure that we're not going over our edge, another principle of Yin Yoga. And once we have, we try to come to stillness. And you may find as everything begins to let go, you may find you're able to go a little deeper into the pose. And that's fine. But we're not trying to muscle our way into any pose in Yin Yoga. These long holds, the compression and the tension on our joints, it's much like strength training. We create micro tears in those joints, and as those micro tears heal, the joints begin to get stronger. And I don't know about you, but a stronger joint, there's nothing wrong with that. Last couple of breaths. And to come on out of this, begin to wiggle yourself forward a little bit. And then rock on over to one hip. Sorry about that. And our next pose is squat at the wall. So, sorry about cutting my head off. I have a tendency to do that, it seems. So stand up with your back against the wall, begin to bend your knees, and just try and slide on down that wall, seeing if the heels come to the mat. So you can get a very, very deep squat this way. With a nice straight spine. Really strengthening for the feet, for the ankles, for our low back. In fact, a lot of this practice is actually going to help strengthen your low back. Of course, if you have an active injury in your low back, always check with a doctor and always listen to your body. Anytime you feel pain in any pose, you've gone over your edge and you've gone too far. And this is a great way, even if you're not practicing Yin Yoga, if you have trouble with a deep squat, doing it at the wall is a really nice, safe way to get into a very deep squat and feel very safe and really supported. Couple more breaths here. And then take your hands to your mat. Begin to wiggle your feet out, still against the wall. Begin to heel toe those feet together as close as you can. Wrap your arms around them and bring your knees as close to your chest as you can. This is Apasana, wind releasing pose at the wall. So this is a great pose for digestion. It is a great, relatively safe low back stretch. And again, doing it at the wall, normally we do this laying on our back. Doing it at the wall makes you very secure, very safe. For most people, doing this laying on your back is not a problem either. If this is too much for you, you can always stretch one leg out in front of you and do one leg at a time. Couple more breaths here. Let go of your knees. If you know already how to get into legs up the wall, essentially that's what we're going to do, and we're going to stay there, and we're going to go through a variety of different poses. You may want a blanket under your neck, your head, to feel more comfortable. So take your hip as close to the wall as you can get it. As you can see, my knees, my hip, they're all against the wall. Come on down to your elbows and just swing your legs around. And then wiggle yourself closer to the wall. Take the soles of your feet together and let your knees bend as you bring those feet down as close to your groin as you can. Knees are opening out to either side. Butterfly at the wall. This is a nice, deep hip opener. Let your shoulders relax. Let your arms relax. Let your forehead uncrease and your jaw soften. Feel yourself being so supported by the earth, whether you're inside or out. Breathing in and out through your nose. Noticing that breath. Anytime that breath gets very choppy, it means you've gone over your edge. You've gone too deeply into the pose. Go ahead and take the sole of each foot to the wall, bringing them down as close to your torso as you can, as close to your groin as you can, while trying to keep those knees out as wide as they can. The knees are now pointing straight back towards a wall rather than pointing out to each wall. So essentially you're doing a squat with your feet at the wall. Your hips are staying on your mat. And we're not pressing into the wall. We're just getting into our hips here. Arms can be wherever feels comfortable for you. They can be slightly away from your body, palms up or palms down. And just keep taking attention back to those shoulders. I know I have a tendency to try and kind of raise my shoulders off of the mat because I'm just not relaxed back there. And if you're familiar with frog pose, this is frog pose at the wall. It is a good inner groin opener. It is a good hip opener. Really feel your back sinking into your mat. Letting go. Begin to straighten one knee, leg comes to the wall, and straighten the other knee, leg is out on the wall, so you are in a straddle pose with your legs on the wall. So the legs are pointing out to either wall. So another inner thigh, hamstring, and hip opener. And I can tell you that I can get into a deeper straddle when I'm at the wall than I can just seated. Notice where your chin is pointing. I know I have a tendency to crank my chin up a little bit. We don't really want to do that. We want our neck in a neutral position. That may mean that you need to bring your chin in a little bit, not right on your chest, just a little bit down. Last couple breaths. Take your hands to your thighs and then slowly just begin to push your feet together. Legs are straight up the wall for a brief pause and legs up the wall. Exactly what it sounds like. And this is a move I do when I run, which I did do this morning. Before I go to bed usually, I will do legs up the wall. I will open into straddle and I will finish with legs up the wall. I will also do this if I've been traveling. Even if it's not a long flight, if it's just a traveling day. I went to see my mom on Monday. It's almost a 2-hour drive one way. Same drive on the way back. We stop, we do a little bit of hiking. It's just a very long day. So I come back, and this might be the only thing I do right before I go to bed as far as yoga is concerned. Put my legs up the wall, I open into a straddle, back into legs up the wall. Anytime your heart doesn't have to pump that blood all the way down your legs and then back up the legs, it's getting a little break. Now, if your butt has come a little bit away from the wall, you may have to wiggle yourself in there. Take your right leg, bend that knee, and place it over your left leg. And this may be enough for you. If you'd like to go deeper, bend that bottom leg, your left leg, and grab a hold of your ankles. See if you can bring your ankles basically to your thighs. You're taking an internal rotation with your hips. And this may also, you may find that this gets into your IT band a little bit, back of your glutes a little bit. And this is shoelace at the wall. This is, I think, a pose that for a lot of people isn't very accessible when they're sitting on their mat. I think it's a little more accessible when you're practicing it at the wall. But you notice How does it feel in your body? Have you ever done this on the mat? Does it feel different when you practice it at the wall? Can you get a little deeper into it? Maybe it feels the same for you. Mm. Okay, my husband just got home, so you may or may not hear something. I was not expecting him back quite so early. You might hear the dog barking a little bit. Maybe not. We'll see. He might start barking when my husband walks in. It's all good. Go ahead and straighten out your right leg, got the top leg, and then go ahead and straighten out the left leg, your bottom leg, and just take a brief pause and legs up the wall. Now let's go ahead and take that left leg, bend the knee, bring it over the right leg. And if you'd like, bend the left leg as well, bringing your ankles down towards your hips. Second side. This is definitely, excuse me, one of the poses where I feel like gravity just really helps get those feet nice and close to your hips. Getting a great stretch down the side of that top leg. And a little bit on the side of the bottom leg as well. If you've let your shoulders creep up a little bit, go ahead and relax them back down to your mat. Notice anywhere in your body you're holding tension. See if you can let that go. Notice if any emotions are bubbling up for you. That's perfectly normal. And if nothing is coming up for you, that's normal as well. Notice again where your chin is pointing and what that's doing to your neck. Let your ankles go. Straighten out the top leg. And then take your bottom leg out from underneath the top leg and straighten that up. And let's pause for a minute and legs up the wall. Maybe just take a look at your feet and notice what feels natural for you in your legs when your legs are up the wall. Are your feet pointing out a little bit? Don't try and change it. I just want you to notice it. A little body awareness. Never hurt anybody. So your feet pointing out a little bit. Are they parallel to each other? Your hips a little bit externally rotated. What is normal for you when your legs are straight? Last couple of breaths. Go ahead and bend your right knee, bringing that right knee down towards your shoulder. Foot comes onto the wall. Reach down and maybe grab that foot. And then begin to bend the left leg. You can always do one leg at a time if that's too much. Bringing that sole down the wall. Reaching down for it. Grabbing onto that foot perhaps. Knees are coming towards your shoulders. They're bent. It's as if you're squatting up on the ceiling. Feet are flexed toward the ceiling. Knees are bent, your thighs are coming onto your torso. Happy baby at the wall. You can be holding onto your ankles, you can be holding onto your shins, wherever feels comfortable for you. Getting a nice slow back stretch here. Trying to keep your hips on the mat, not lifting up into space. A little bit of a hamstring stretch, a little bit of a hip opener. Basically, getting into pretty much your entire legs. Begin to take your feet back to the wall, stretching out your left arm and slowly beginning to fall down towards your left side. Excuse me while I go and close that door just in case my husband wants to come up and make some noise. You can move the blanket out from away from your mat. We're not going to need that anymore. Go ahead and bring your right leg against the wall. Leg stretch out. Bring your right leg in towards your chest and then begin to cross it over your left leg. And if you want, you can try and wiggle back towards the wall. I keep moving away from it as I bring, there we go. Bring your upper back against the wall. So reclining twist at the wall. I have my left palm holding on to that bent right knee. And the other arm I'm just letting fall where it's comfortable for me. Head can turn towards the mat. It can look straight up. Wherever is comfortable for you. And notice if you're putting any tension into those glutes. See if you can relax them. Last couple of breaths here. Begin to bend your left elbow all the way over. Take your right hand to the mat and just slowly begin to press yourself up. Swing your legs around to the second side. Stretching yourself out so you're against the wall from your upper back all the way down your legs. Bend your left leg and let it fall over the right. You can be pillowing your hand on your head, and I like to reach down and just pull that left leg a little closer. So your body is pressed against the wall, your back, lower leg, bottom leg, the upper leg, knees bent, and just folding over the bottom leg. Recline twist at the wall. Once again, notice anywhere in your body that you're holding some tension. See if you can breathe it out. Let it go. Hopefully by now you're feeling really relaxed. Although maybe some emotions have come up for you. Just let them come up. You can't go around your emotions. You have to go through your emotions. Okay, this is really nice, I have to admit. I like doing this at the wall. I hope you do too. Last couple of breaths. And let your knee go. Take the palm of that hand to the mat. And begin to come over onto your left hip, bringing yourself onto your back, on your mat for our final pose, Savasana. Down onto your mat. Let your feet fall open. Let your arms relax down by your sides. Palms can be up or palms can be down, whatever feels right to you. I invite you to close down your body your eyes. Give yourself time to notice anything that has come up for you in this practice. Maybe that's emotions. Maybe it's just which side is tighter, which side is more open. But give yourself this gift, this time in Savasana, to take this practice into your heart. And I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. Or at least lower your eyelids so you're just looking at the tip of your nose and blocking out the rest of the room. Letting your breath be natural. Relaxing your forehead. Relaxing your eyebrows. And let your ears relax and your jaw soften. Let your neck be loose. And let your shoulders fall away from your ears. Let your arms relax. Just let your fingers curl naturally. Feel your breath moving in and out of your lungs, and your lungs moving your ribs in and out. Let your hips be loose and your abs relax. Your upper legs relax. Your knees soften. Lower legs let go. Tops of the feet, soles of the feet, heels and toes. Everything is soft and relaxed. Remain on your back with your eyes closed. I'd like to read you a poem. It's from the book To the Women by Donna Ashworth. And the title is Gut Feelings Are Your Guardian Angels. Listen very closely to those little feelings that start in your tummy. And try very hard to be heard. They're the voices of those that watch you. They're your guardian angels doing their thing. Pay attention to the hairs that bristle on the back of your neck. For when that happens, you have been touched from above by someone who has your very best interests at heart. What is it they heard that made them connect? Go back, find it, listen. If you are struggling to make a decision, my friend, say it out loud as though you were talking to a loved one and wait for the feelings that follow. You are never, ever alone. You are always being guided in everything that you do. Likewise, when your instincts are screaming at you to leave, to free yourself, to move on to better things, listen hard. They are right. Pay close attention to the voices deep inside. They are your guardian angels. Not only do we store emotions in our hips, we have our gut instincts too, our manipura. We have to listen to our gut. Go ahead and come back to your natural breath. And then slowly begin to deepen your breath. Maybe making little movements with your fingers and your toes. Beginning to circle those wrists and ankles. Then stretch your arms up above your head and your feet away from those arms. Big stretch as if you're waking up first thing in the morning. Maybe wiggle around a little bit. Slowly inhale and bring one knee to your chest and then the other. Keeping those eyes closed if they're closed. Gently fall over to whatever side is comfortable for you, curling into a fetal position. Taking your hands down to the mat, slowly pushing yourself upright into an easy seated position. Inhale, bring your hands together at heart center. Bowing your head over your hands. Rubbing those hands back and forth. Feeling the hands and the heat that you're generating coming into this present moment right now. And bring your hands to stillness at heart center. Slowly begin to blink your eyes open. Slowly begin to raise your head, take in the rest of the room. Thank you so much for joining me for this hip opening, emotion opening Yin Yoga practice. I hope that you enjoyed this practice. If you did, please go ahead and press the like button. It helps me to keep free yoga free. And if you'd like to know when new videos are added to this channel, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. There's also a link to our private Facebook group below, to my newsletter. Feel free to join any of the above, or below, as the case may be. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank yourself for taking this time for yourself so that you can be there for everybody else in your life. And please remember, every day, go inside. Find that happiness within that is always present. Namaste.